As we enter the final 3 days of the NBA's regular season, I will give you the picks that you need to succeed in Fanduel's after-hour slate of games on Wednesday, August 12th. My name's Quick Pick Nick, and in 5 minutes or less, I'll be able to fill in your lineup for tonight's games using computer programs and data analytics. Starting off with the lock of the week, the best player available in this slate in terms of expected outcome as well as price is Goran Dragic. Dragic was in the Heat starting lineup a couple of nights ago against the Pacers for the first time in a week, and picked off right where he left off, playing for over half the game and scoring more than 30 fantasy points. Dragic has been consistent throughout the bubble as well, never falling below 30 fantasy points in a game he's played. And at a price tag of $5,500, Dragic is not a player that you can afford to ignore. Following up Dragic with a blockbuster pick that will likely earn the bulk of your points for tonight is one of the current kings of the league, the man with a contagious laugh, Kawhi Leonard. Leonard took the night off on Saturday, but came back even better with his best performance yet since the restart, with 39 in-game points on Monday. Leonard is worth spending $8,700 too, as he's the best option at small forward by a large margin, with the next closest option of Gallinari, a game-time decision, netting an average of less than 30 fantasy points per game, and the next option after that dropping to the tens range of fantasy points. The final lock for this slate of games is Jimmy Butler, who successfully took vengeance against TJ Warren a couple of nights ago when he scored 53 fantasy points. Butler returned from an injury that night as well and showed no signs of slowing down anytime soon, especially with a game on the line that could affect Miami's seeding and positioning in the playoffs. For players to avoid this week, I would say that big-name Nuggets players in general may be risky picks, as their two star players were benched for the entire fourth quarter against the Lakers, a game that they ended up losing. Players like Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are these types of players who might suffer from being benched or rested later in the game. Filling out the rest of the lineup, my second point guard is Chris Paul. One of the members of the Banana Boat crew, CP3 is the best point guard available in this slate and worth the $7,700 to get. Paul has scored at least 10 in-game points in all of his bubble games so far, with many of them surpassing 20. Your second shooting guard ought to be Paul George, as recommended by my model. George sat out his last game for rest, but it looks likely that he'll play against the Nuggets tonight. My only concern here is the limitations that George might face in terms of playing minutes, as the Clippers are pretty locked in at their current position for their playoffs. But considering that George's output per minute is higher than any other player available at the position tonight, even with less time he should be able to earn his money's worth. Jae Crowder will fill in your second slot at small forward, as he's been a very solid option throughout the bubble at a lower price range. For only $4,700, Crowder has earned massive numbers over the past 3 games he's played, surpassing 20 fantasy points in each. Crowder will likely be able to reach that benchmark once more tonight, as he and the Heat will play for their better seeding in the playoffs. The two power forwards for this week are Bam Adebayo and JaMychal Green. There's a similar situation tonight as there was with the lineup I made a couple of nights ago, as Adebayo and Porter are both very close in terms of prices as well as expected output. Last game I went with Porter, as he seemed like the more consistent option, but he was rested for the entire fourth quarter, so this game Adebayo seems to be the better option. Adebayo still has something to play for and proved that he can score even with limited numbers, achieving 34 fantasy points in only 22 minutes last game. However, Porter still could be substituted here for a difference of $100, so feel free to do so if you are confident that Porter will still get the playing time that he needs to warrant this high price. Green is in this lineup mainly because of his low price of $3,800. Green has also been able to take a more predominant role in the Clippers lineup recently, garnering more minutes in the past few games, so look for him to put those minutes to good use. Finally, to finish my lineup, my model recommends Zubac at center. As the Clippers' only relevant active starter, with Harrell sidelined and Noah a name that nobody knows, Zubac is able to play for a decent chunk of time of most of LA's games, and will be able to do so again tonight as they play their penultimate game of the regular season. And that's what I was able to come up with for tonight's FanDuel After Hours slate of games on this Wednesday, August 12th. Again, this has been Quick Pick Nick, the intersection for sports, data analysis, and speed. Thanks for watching.